Hey guys!
Hey guys!
We're back with another WESTWORLD review, this time reviewing WESTWORLD Season 1, Episode 7, titled Trompe. If you haven't seen it yet and you want to avoid any spoilers, skip this video and come back later because everything we say from this point forward is going to be a spoiler. The title of this episode was Trompe, and that is French for deceive the eye. And we were like, man, what does this title mean? Because the titles always mean something, and it's totally a reference to the biggest reveal of the season. Bernard is a host.
Yes.
Oh, shit.
Now, we've had suspicions that some of the people inside, some of the workers inside WESTWORLD have our host. Going so far as, what if all the grunt workers are hosts?
That's kind of what I thought.
Yeah, and that makes sense because
you don't have to pay them.
You don't have to pay them, and they never know. You could just input it into their mind that they were paid. But never in our minds did it occur to us that Bernard was a host.
Yeah, and apparently it is a very popular fan theory that not only is Bernard a host, but that he is the direct resemblance of Arnold.
Yes. And I guess this theory comes around because Bernard and Dolores, when they're having their talks, it's not in the main building.
Right.
It's a completely separate area. And so the main theory is that this happens pre the park opening, and that was Arnold.
And the area where Bernard and Dolores have their little talks, it does look a lot like that little area where Bernard took Teresa.
Yeah.
So it might be in there, and that would make sense then for a non-linear timeline.
Yeah.
So the Bernard reveal was huge. The other big thing in this episode was Maeve. I felt terrible for Maeve when she had to watch Clementine basically get lobotomized.
Yeah, that was absolutely awful.
Yeah. The biggest thing is, are we ever going to see Clementine again, or are they just going to, set her up on a rack somewhere and now she's gone as a character?
Yeah, it sure seems that way.
Yeah.
But who knows?
Or do they lobotomize them and then reprogram them with a new brain and everything? I don't know what's going on with that.
And it doesn't really matter what their standard is, because after they had the little demonstration, the very heavy-handed coding demonstration of her flaw, it seemed like the new thing that they were going to do was scrap everything and start over. That's kind of the way they made it sound, like they can't keep anything of the original because it's flawed.
Yeah, I loved when Bernard called Teresa out on how just blatantly obvious that little show was with Clementine and the other host who was made to seem human, because that was the whole point of it, was to show that Clementine could harm a human. She thought that other host was a human.
Yeah.
And that was the whole point of that little exercise, but Bernard totally called her out on it. It was like, look, I know that's bullshit, and any, novice coder would be able to spot that that's bullshit. You think Ford doesn't know? Come on now.
Exactly, yeah.
And then Ford ordered Bernard to just kill Teresa. That is a character that I did not see dying at all.
No, but I'm kind of suspicious that he already has a host Teresa on backup.
Yeah,
and that
because you can't just commit murder.
Yeah, so I think he killed her and is going to replace her. And if that is what happened, then did he kill Arnold and just replace him with Bernard?
And that would make sense then why he's basically erased Arnold from the history of the company, is so nobody can find a picture of him to go, that guy looks just like Bernard.
Yeah, yeah. And if he's done this to Bernard, how many other people within the company are hosts and just don't know that they're hosts?
Yeah, it could be literally anyone. Like the character we met last week who kind of set everything up with Teresa, Charlotte. She might be a host. We don't know.
Yeah.
Also, in this episode, I really love the William-Dolores love story.
Yeah, we knew this was coming. It's been building. But it was really cool to see them each explain it from their own point of view, why they were drawn to each other and what they're doing and where their path is leading. And I think it's important too, because we have the storyline showing that you can't tell the hosts apart, and yet he knows she's a host and it doesn't matter.
And finally, jumping back to Maeve, she tells Sylvester and Felix that they're gonna straight up help her get out into the real world, or she is going to kill them. She's really aiming that threat at Sylvester, but it does apply to Felix too. Now, we just found out the other day that there was actually a Beyond Westworld television series that was totally about the hosts being out in the real world and representatives from the corporation having to go out and find them and bring them in. It didn't last very long. I think they only aired like actually 7 episodes. I think they only filmed 13 or 15 or something like that. So it was very short-lived. But one of our main concerns about Westworld is how do you have this thing go on for 5 or 6 or 7 seasons? Well, if they're going to follow the story of Beyond Westworld, that's where you go.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty much it for this video. If you have anything to add, let us know down in the comments. Also, if you enjoyed this review, tell us by dropping a like on it and subscribe for more reviews.
And thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.